Hello everyone, welcome to the Marketplace. Coming up this afternoon, economists warns government's single-digit inflation target by 2028 may not be attained if proactive steps are not taken to deal with challenges confronting Ghana's industrialization agenda.
One way we can achieve single-digit inflation is when we begin to industrialize. So government should be more proactive in its industrialization drive.
Also coming up, Ghana's total earnings from exports up to October this year see some marginal decline. We have details coming up. Plus, currency managers in West Africa have been meeting in Accra to explore innovative ways to safeguard the value of currencies by reducing activities of money laundering and counterfeiting.
Ensure that in terms of the technology to print quality notes, so that people will not tend to reject the currency and go for the use of other currency, which can have repercussions for our currency.
My name is Daryl. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. First up, economist and lecturer at the Wisconsin University, Ghana, Dr. Samuel Wolanyo-Mensah, has cast doubt about government's single-digit inflation target by 2028. According to him, the current performance of the economy does not suggest so. Speaking to Joy Business at the 2023 Ghana Corporate Excellence Awards, he said government is not proactive enough to address challenges confronting its industrialization agenda.
The Ghana Corporate Excellence Awards provides a platform to recognize individuals and companies that play a significant role in developing various sectors in Ghana. Dr. Wolanyo entreated government to be heavy on supporting local businesses.
Not at all, because the only way we can achieve single-digit inflation is when we begin to industrialize. So government should be more proactive in its industrialization drive. For instance, African Beyond Aid, Ghana Beyond Aid, narrowing it down to one district, one factory, one district, one warehouse, planting for food and jobs, and I think one village, one dam. But then government is not so serious about its own policies. Either the appointees are not really helping champion the vision of the president. So there is a leadership crisis over there. So until we have been able to do that and also being able to industrialize, go into domestication, agribusinesses, agro-processing, developing the textile and garment industries, develop the petrochemical economy, develop the digitized economy. There's no way that we'll be able to achieve single-digit inflation. And so I encourage government rather to support industrialization and to develop the local capacities. I think that is the way forward.
The awards recognize the industry's merit and set a benchmark for excellence while rewarding innovative ideas that have pushed the possible boundaries.
Now, Ghana's total earnings from exports up to October this year have seen a marginal decline, but still cause for concern based on the current pressure on the city. Here's George Afe.
This was captured in the latest Bank of Ghana's economic and financial data for November 2023. The data showed that in October 2022, Ghana's total earnings from exports stood at $14.3 billion. However, it dropped to $13.4 billion in the same period for this year. This can be due to the marginal decline in earnings from crude exports, which stood at $3 billion ending October this year. Revenue from cocoa exports was $1.7 billion, the same as we got in October 2022. However, gold and other exports picked up strongly. On the other hand, the country spent $11.3 billion to finance its imports ending October this year, compared to the $12.5 billion in 2022. The development resulted in a trade surplus of $2 billion ending October this year, again better than what we got in the same period for last year. But for some, the concern here is that some of these earnings didn't go directly into Bank of Ghana's reserves, a development that might have gone a long way to help build up enough reserves for the central bank for it to have stepped in these challenging times to stabilize the Ghana cedi.
Now, the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law is urging the government of Ghana to ratify the International Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods. Ghana and Venezuela are the only countries in the world yet to ratify the international law, which aims to harmonize trade around the world. At the UN Commission on International Trade Law conference underway in Accra, stakeholders urged Ghana to ratify the treaty.
The United Nations Commission on International Trade Law Days in Africa is aimed at increasing awareness on international trade laws and fostering the study, research, and discussions by participants on topics related to the work of the Commission. This edition, being hosted in Accra, brings together stakeholders drawn from Ghana's judiciary and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration to dialogue on the challenges and prospects of improving the framework. Key on the agenda is the discussions surrounding the need for Ghana to ratify the International Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods. Anna Ewing-Brett is Secretary of the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law.
Settlement. Another topic that will be discussed just in passing, but we're not going to let it pass, is Ghana's ratification of the CISG, a convention on the international sale of goods that Ghana has signed on but never ratified. And the purpose of the CISG is precisely to provide a modern, uniform and fair regime for contracts in the international sale of goods. Thus, it contributes significantly to introducing certainty in commercial exchanges and decreasing transaction costs. It has 97 states parties and the number keeps growing. We hope that Ghana will consider ratification of this important text.
Being one of the only two countries around the world yet to ratify this convention, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration says it is time for Ghana to ratify the convention. Philbert Abaka-Johnson is ambassador at Ghana's permanent mission in Vienna.
Yes, I believe that we should ratify that agreement. There are only two countries that have not ratified that agreement, and it is Ghana and Venezuela, and we need to ratify the agreement. And I know for sure that the Foreign Ministry is working hard on the process for ratification. That would enhance trade and harmonize the way we trade globally.
What will be the benefit to the country if we pass?
Yeah, it's harmonized system for trading, which is used by many countries that have signed and ratified that treaty. And so it's good for us to also ratify, so it would bring about uniformity in how we transact trade across borders. And that's the whole essence of the even the AFCFTA, ETLS that we have.
Right, so would you like... Well, Well, since its inception in 1966, the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law, UNCITRAL, has played a pivotal role, being at the forefront of standardization of international trade norms. Ghana has also been championing the agenda of an African continental free trade area that will promote trade liberalization across the African continent. Is the reason for which the UNCITRAL Days being hosted here at the Accra International Conference Center presents that opportunity for the country to reflect on the opportunities and prospects. Trade unions in Ghana in the last few days have raised concerns over the proposed introduction of trade restriction policies on some 22 commodities. Although issues of trade restriction may not fall within their remit, Anna Ewing-Brett says a passage of the International Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods will provide the infrastructure for trade not to encounter any illegal obstacles.
They are actually complementing each other. As I said, the convention is really on the infrastructure level, and on this infrastructure you build the trade rules between states. And so what we're doing is really building the infrastructure for traders to not encounter any legal obstacles when they want to buy and sell amongst each other.
Now, currency managers in West Africa are exploring innovative ways to safeguard the value of currencies by reducing activities of money laundering and counterfeiting. Speaking to Joy Business at the opening session of the regional workshop on currency management and forecasting, Director in charge of research and macroeconomic management at YFM, Dr. Emmanuel Usofriye, said it is imperative to build the capacity of currency managers to foster financial stability within the region.
Currency management is one of the critical functions in central banks' operations. The integrity of a currency and its efficient supply are clear indicators of a well-functioning central bank. Of particular concern within the sub-region is the issue of counterfeiting and money laundering, which continue to pose significant threat to financial systems. In light of this, the West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, YFM, is organizing a workshop for currency managers within West Africa on currency management and forecasting to brainstorm and map out innovative policies to minimize the menace. Speaking to Joy Business, Director in charge of research and macroeconomic management at YFM, Dr. Emmanuel Usofriye said the role of currency management is an integral part of overall economic management.
We want to ensure that in terms of the technology to print quality notes which would ensure acceptance so that people will not tend to reject the currency and go for the use of other currency which can have repercussions for our currency and the value of it, and maybe resulting in inflation and other things. We want to ensure we do all these things. But how do we do that? We have workshops like this where we bring on board experts who would help in educating us in ensuring that we gain the expertise, the skills in managing and forecasting these currencies so that we always ensure they are within the acceptable confines within the economy. Yeah.
Delivering the keynote address on behalf of the Governor, Head Center for Capacity Development at the Bank of Ghana, Emmanuel Kwawu, urged central banks to incorporate and embrace requisite security features to deter counterfeiting and enhance durability.
Efficient and effective currency management commences with a strategic analysis of the currency life cycle. However, strategic management of currency is impossible without accurate forecast of the demand for the banknotes. The long lead time involved in banknote production makes it vital for a cost and reputational point of view that central banks forecast the demand for banknotes as accurately as possible.
The regional workshop is designed to explore key challenges that confront central banks in currency management and how they can be confronted. For Joy Business, Pius Kojobaka.
Now, insurance sector players have been urged to pay critical attention to affordability when selling insurance products to consumers. The inability of some clients to patronize insurance packages is due to its high cost, accounting for low insurance penetration in the country. Speaking to Joy Business at the launch of Salam Education Plan and Salam Income Protection Plan, Managing Director of Salam Life Insurance Ghana, Teria Ben Ahmed, said insurance companies have a greater role to play in improving insurance coverage.
Income Protection is an insurance package designed to enable breadwinners and parents protect their income even after death. In respect of Salam Education Plan, the product has been designed to enable parents to protect the education of their children for the future. Teria Ben Ahmed is the Managing Director of Salam Life Insurance Ghana.
The insurance penetration is hovering around 1%, and that begins to tell you that there's a lot of runway to cover in as far as insurance is concerned. And I indulge you to support us to drive insurance education, because the journey to be financially confident must be personal responsibility, and we must take up the responsibility to say, whatever we are earning today, if we are no more there, it will not be there for the benefit of our family. So we cannot take chances. It is important that we protect our income. So help us to drive this education across the nooks and crannies of this country, so that every single Ghanaian income earner, every single Ghanaian that thinks of having a child, if you think of having a child, you need an education product. If you have children, then you actually have no choice than to take that education product.
He tells Joy Business insurance sector players have a bigger role to play in improving insurance penetration in the country. He believes this can be achieved if attention is paid to affordability when it comes to the selling of insurance products.
The thing about insurance, or the thing about any other service, is that you need to be able to offer a product as a solution to problems of people. And that solution must be something that is then appreciated by the various market segments you are serving. And it must be affordable. And beyond then, the kind of service experience that you put behind the product must also be a good experience. And so it begins to let people want to buy insurance, as opposed to forcing people to want to buy insurance.
According to the company, its 2 new products will provide shield against uncertainties and a promise of financial security for the future.
All right, you're watching The Marketplace. We're taking a short break. We will be back with some more stories. And welcome back. The International Trade Center, Ghana's Cocoa Board, and the European Union are implementing a new regulation for farmers and stakeholders in the cocoa value chain called the EU Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive. This new regulation is to hold players accountable and ensure that they establish systems to mitigate environmental and social risks in the course of the operations. Deputy Chief Executive in charge of agronomy and quality control, Dr. Ebenezer Usu, said Cocoa Board will fully roll out the implementation of the directive by March 2024. He was speaking at a workshop on the EU Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive.
The EU Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive CS3D workshop by the International Trade Center, Ghana Cocoa Board, and the EU seeks to raise awareness on CS3D, share lessons learned from the pilot programs, discuss challenges and opportunities, and develop a roadmap for CS3D readiness in Ghana's cocoa sector. In an interview, Deputy Chief Executive of Cocoa Board in charge of agronomy and quality control, Dr. Ebenezer Usu, said plans are in place for the full rollout of the EU Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive.
We have what we call a Ghana Cocoa Traceability System, which we are currently piloting in 2 districts in Ghana. And by that I mean Asinfosu and then New Adubiasi area. And these 2 were selected for good reasons, because we look at the requirements: deforestation, child labor. So these more or less will represent Ghana. So once we are able to test and accept what pertains to these cocoa districts, then we'll roll it out to the entire country. So currently, we have given ourselves our deadlines. We hope to finish this pilot study by end of this year. And then by March, we are going to more or less start rolling March and the next year, March 2024, we are going to roll it out in the entire nation. Even though the EU requirement, they have set 31st December 2024 as the deadline, we want to finish ours by March 2024 and test the system to see, so that if there are any challenges, we will address them before the deadline.
The Netherlands ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Jeroen Verheul, added that the European Union, through this regulation, is seeking to set the standards for products that will be exported into the country.
What we are discussing here is the impact of regulations that are being prepared in Western markets, especially in the European Union, and that have an impact on producers in other countries beyond the European Union. So what the European Union is doing is setting standards for products that are allowed to enter the market in Europe. And one of those products, and that is why I am here, and that is why Ghana is involved, is cocoa. Cocoa is a very important product in the trade between the Netherlands and Ghana. And the EU regulations that we are discussing here have a very strong impact on the way we trade in cocoa.
The EU Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive, which is co-financed by the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States, the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and in partnership with the International Coffee Organization, is currently being piloted in some cocoa production areas in the country.
Now, the Ghana Association of Cocoa, Coffee and Shea Nut Farmers, COCOSHE, has expressed worry about the delay in the supply of solar torchlights and mosquito nets to farmers. The association has therefore appealed to the management of Cocoa Board to expedite action since the delay is taking a heavy toll on operations of farmers. Addressing journalists ahead of the Farmers' Day celebration, spokesperson of the association, Imoro Isifu, called for prompt attention.
Mosquito nets for the safety of the entire cocoa, coffee and shea nut farmers in the country. At that 10th May 2019 engagement with the Excellency the President instructed Cocoa Board to meet the request as soon as possible. It will interest you to note that solar torchlights and mosquito nets are of tremendous importance to us as it helps our farmers in remote communities in the cocoa areas. Whilst at the same time, shea nut pickers are also using the torchlights to go into the bush at dawn to pick shea nuts with ease as it brightens under the trees, under the shea trees.
Now, a new maize hybrid seed introduced by King Seed is set to improve maize production in Ghana from the current 2.5 to 3 million metric tons to 10 million metric tons per hectare. Director of Seeds Operations at King Seeds, Maruthi Prasanna, at a brief inspection of a maize demonstration farm at Sikania in Kwanza, said the new variety has what it takes to increase farmers' yields and make Ghana a net exporter of maize in the coming years. Correspondent Anas Sabet has more.
The new hybrid maize seed introduced by King's Seeds, a subsidiary of Kingdom Exim, has the capacity to increase the country's present yield per hectare of 2 to 3 million metric tons to up to 10 million metric tons or more. Maruthi Prasanna is the director of seeds operation at King Seeds.
Today, if you see the maize in Ghana, the average yields are around 2.5 to 2.7 metric tons per hectare. So we realized that there is no very good seed available in Ghana to increase the average yields. So we brought in hybrid seed from India through King Seeds and planted both in Ghanaian method where there is less population and also with high population. And we, after 2 months or 3 months, we can see that in the high population, we see the yields can be close to 10 metric tons or more than that. The performance of the hybrids doesn't change with high population. More the population, more to see a happy, smiling farmer.
Maruti Prasanna is optimistic that the new variety of seeds, well aside the improvement of the finances of the local farmers, also help in making Ghana a net exporter of maize in the coming years.
If you see, Ghana is a net importing country, means what is produced in Ghana may not be enough to feed the people. So now when more and more farmers adopt our seeds, Ghana will become a net exporting country. That will mean a lot of foreign currency will come into the country. So Ghana can export to the neighboring countries after feeding their population, the people, as well as the animals.
Bono East Regional Director of Agriculture, James Adu, who was part of a team of experts to inspect a demonstration farm in Sika, stated that the new variety is capable of helping boost the region's maize production, which is in line with government's Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2 program, which allows farmers to choose from the various maize varieties in the market.
With this high yield, per the figures we are getting, if it's going to give us that some year, then when we promote it, it will creep our maize production. It will increase the maize production, especially yield productivity per acre. So once the productivity improves, then it means we are going to get more food. And with the PFJ2, the Planting for Food and Job Phase 2 that is coming, that is where government is targeting.
All right, and that's our program this afternoon. Thanks for watching, everyone. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Our top story there, IMF cash cocoa loan to arrive before end of 2023. That's according to the Bank of Ghana government, and Africa's largest solar rooftop project to drive Ghana's industrialization agenda. You can read more about that on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time.